Are all inspections equal? Anyone want to answer that?
Yeah, happy to kick us off. I mean, I think, firstly, definitely not. I think there's so many factors at play here, and I think you touched on there. Firstly, what's the purpose of the inspection? Who's paying for it? I think is a really good starting point, because what the inspector goes on board, how they conduct themselves, obviously, it can be a big difference there in terms of what outcome the person who's asked for the inspection is looking for. I think when we look from Rightship's point of view, we do a lot of inspections. That's very much focused on risk management, identifying practices on board the vessel, but very much from a due diligence point of view to feed into decision-making, chartering decisions. But there is a range of different inspections, different purposes, valuations, condition assessments, leading into dockings and planning. So I think real range of inspections out there would be my response.
I'm glad you started, Chris, because this is exactly what we do at Idwal, is ship inspections, right? That's the whole focus, and I live, sleep, eat, and breathe this, and I could talk about it for the next half an hour if you want. But no, what I would say is exactly that. It depends on the end use case. There's all sorts of elements. What's the situation of the ship? Is she in cargo operations? Are the crew rested? Are the crew able to be with the inspector? The background of the surveyor, the checklist the surveyor is using, all of that has a completely different permutation on how the inspection will pan out and the purpose of the inspection. And then there's also how the inspection itself is interpreted by the person reading it, which is important. But given that there's been a lot of talk about data and AI and collaboration, APIs, all that sort of thing, I think the thing that I'd like to talk about specifically to inspections not being equal, and what we've done in Idwal to try and make them equal with the best of our ability. We talk a lot about subjectivity versus objectivity. They need to be objective. It needs to be a standardized checklist that you start from the basis of. You can then add on top of that for client-specific requirements, etc. But one of the critical things about it is that you take the questions and you use it to take data, which means they need to be catalogued. You cannot just ask questions and have free text answers to them. At some point you need free text, yes, but you've got to, if you're talking about corrosion, you need to say the percentage of corrosion. You need to say where it was seen. You need to say whether it was scattered, whether it was spotted, etc. Because if you do that, then you can apply it at what I like to call a 3D level. So you can compare two ships against each other, etc., or a fleet, and you can use it to improve your asset condition, which is something we're focused on. So.
This is us going digital. But yeah, to start with, I think you're right. The scope of each type of survey is different. And you're right as well, George. But tongue-in-cheek, I think it depends on the motive of the survey also. Who's paying the surveyor? Who's contracting the surveyor? It could be a very meaningful charterer survey where he's independent. It could be just a tick box exercise, get the survey done and just get on with it. These also are things that happen. Let's not only stick to the creamy layer. You have inspections going across a spectrum. And when you do a lot of inspections, as a club, I was heading the survey program for over 10 years. And then I had very little hair left and I had to leave. So you see a lot of things happening, and it also comes down to how much the ship staff also kind of, I think that's a thing we're going to discuss later, what the ship staff want you to see, how much you're shown as an inspector or as a virtual inspector. But you're right. And I think, I'm not so sure if you touched upon, the type of the vessel is also a factor. Size, trading patterns and all that, but I think the type of the vessel is also an important factor on this thing. And hopefully there's no discrimination over here between surveys.
Yeah, from what I see as an ex-mariner, for a seafarer who's going to undergo an inspection, it's nothing different. All the inspections are just an additional workload for them. There's nothing different out there. And as the panel rightly stated, There are different inspections regimes looking into different things, while some might look into the regulatory compliance part of things, some might look into the marine assurance side of things, and then we would have these audits which look into compliance with company procedures or would look into continuous improvement and so on. However, my take on whether these inspections are different, well, what I would do is I would just take a step back and try and see what all these inspections are finally trying to achieve. Well, if we look at it closely, all these inspections are trying to achieve two main things. One is quality, and the other is commercial efficiency. And let's be very honest out here. Shipping, like any other industry, is out here to do business. And we have seen that finally inspections do improve the quality, and history has proven that because, for example, the SIRE program is a very good example of it. A few years back, before SIRE came in, the tankers were supposedly the black sheep of the industry, but today we see that they are benchmarked as one of the best within the industry. When it comes to commercial efficiency, well, because quality is improving, commercial efficiency is also improving. Again, from the operators or the owner's side who are being burdened with these inspections, there is a ray of hope out there. Not many people look at it this way, but the kind of inspection regimes that are being developed today, actually these inspections can provide a very good platform to, demonstrate the marketability of your entity or of your product. So, yeah, inspections are different, but finally they are trying to achieve the same thing. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So I guess whether or not they are equal depends on whose lens you're looking at it through, and its efficacy, again, also depends a lot on people.